There
Hey,
we go.
good morning.
There's our technical.
I know I keep doing that. I'm going to get that music all done so it's not hard to cut. But anyway, good morning, everybody. This is welcome to Texoma. It's not. That's our buddy. Anyway, never mind. I'm messing it up this morning.
You're on wake up call.
I know. Yeah. Well, anyway, get it right, Texoma. That's where you're at, and you've got the trio right here. And I'm Terry,
and I'm Trey,
and that's Mike over there, keeping an eye on us, laughing in the whole
our
bit.
buddy Mike Hendren in heaven.
That's right. So, and you've got that part. All right. So, as always, we have our friend, partner, I just said, up there, Mike, and we're getting good at this, and we don't even need this prompter anymore that much. But
we usually go live. This every Friday morning at 7:30 on Facebook and YouTube with local happenings, interesting topics, and usually a guest. Yeah. Even if we record the show ahead of time, we'll drop it at 7:30 on Friday morning for consistency.
Just like last week, and I think it went through pretty well. So
absolutely.
And who do we have coming?
Speaking of guests today, CEO of United Regional, Cory Edmondson, who's the new CEO. Yeah. Of course, Phyllis Cowling was the CEO for many, many years, and Cory recently took over, so he's going to be our guest. So once again, bringing you long-form interviews with local leaders that you cannot get anywhere else.
That's right. So please chime in. We actually keep an eye on the comments and everything you want to do. If you want to ask a question or whatever, we'll try to keep an eye on that and include you in our show. So, but if you miss this one, you can always obviously you can get this in the archives on for 30 days on Facebook, but you get the full archive
for a lifetime on YouTube.
For a lifetime.
Lives forever.
So anyway, all of our former guests and everything, even a lot of Mike stuff is still there. It's all the Mike stuff before when we went and started this.
Was it February of 24?
Yeah, so 2 years coming up.
Yeah.
So, man. All right, so we have our sponsors here. We got Eddie Hills Fun Cycles. Is it 401?
401
North Scott. Since 1966.
That's right.
And MacTech Solutions right here, 4020 Ray Road. Come see us. We've got all your Apple stuff. He's got a lot of motorcycles and I guess side-by-sides. And
we'll have mowers. We're out of mowers right now.
Okay, so that's.
But we'll have them. We'll have them for mowing season.
Right. All right. So we want to do business locally if you can. We really, really encourage that. Hold your local business leaders accountable too, though. I mean, don't let them. I know I don't take for granted that you can. You shop here, right?
Absolutely no. And that's the thing you'll notice that most local people are very thankful that you shop with them, and really kind of always have been. But I think it's even gotten more because the people who weren't thankful are gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But because of the age of the internet, things have changed so much.
Yeah.
If you're not thankful to your customers, you do not give good customer service. Yeah. You can't stick around.
Yeah. I got here in 1995, and there were a few of those businesses back then, and you know what? Those aren't. You're like you said, they're gone.
No, they're gone.
Or they've changed. You can just go to Dallas if you want. Well, they got the internet to worry about.
I have to go to Dallas. They can sit around in their underwear and do it at home.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, not in the store. Not sit around in the underwear in the store. Be sure to do it at home.
All right, so let's get into it. This is Get It Right Texoma. So what do we got here? The first thing we usually start off with
local restaurant focus.
Restaurants. So
yeah, Wangs and Things.
Wangs and Things, and I let me get that up here on.
Let me tell you, this is some really, really good food. Of course, they do more than just wings, but that's what they specialize in, boneless and bone-in. They're out on Martin Luther King Boulevard. They're kind of really close to where, towards the end of Martin Luther King, where if it hits East Scott is where they are. But I'm going to tell you, really good food, really nice people out there. It's a big, nice blue building. I mean, so it's one of those deals. My point is it's very obvious.
Okay, you can't miss it.
No. They have a drive-through, they have dine-in inside, and they have a patio outside for nice days like this.
Okay. Well,
my favorite is a hot Cheeto.
Hot Cheeto.
The hot Cheeto wings.
There yet.
Yeah, so basically they'll fry you up the wings, and then they roll them in a hot Cheeto dip, and they're good.
Is that?
That's probably
I guess
fish.
that's fish. Okay,
yeah,
then you got some
sausage and So look at your screen there. There's all kinds of good food there, but like I said, I've never got anything but the wings there, but because they're my favorite, and I like the bone. Do you like the bone in or bone out wings?
I don't care.
I like the boneless. I don't mind chewing around the bone, but then you You chew it up and you sit there and you got a huge bone. Not a huge, but
Yeah,
a bunch of bone there.
I'd rather work's done for you. You get whatever. It's like,
but the flavor's there.
Yeah, well, the crab claws, but they don't. I'm not saying they have them, but there's a lot of work getting that out.
Don't eat crab. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, their hours
crabs, but
right there. No.
I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
They are actually closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but open Wednesday through Sunday, so you can catch them after church, on the weekend, and the whole bit.
Yeah, so you can get from lunch. They're open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And then on Wednesdays and Thursdays till 8. So you can get lunch or dinner.
Yep. There you go.
And be sure, especially if it's a Friday or Saturday, call ahead.
Oh.
Because they do get busy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've called ahead before, and it's like, okay, it's going to be 30 minutes. Okay, that'll be fine. You know, you just know. Don't think you're going to swing by there. It's not McDonald's. You're not going to swing by there and go and grab you something, but it doesn't taste like McDonald's. It's really high quality food made by some really nice people. Wings and Things on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Check them out.
All right. So what do we got coming up next here? Oh, man, we got ZZ.
Yep.
Beard, the men with the beards.
Yep.
They're all coming on
ZZ Top.
18th, right? 19th or 18th.
The 18th.
7:30.
Right, at the K. Yeager Coliseum. So be sure to go get your tickets. I'm sure they still have some tickets.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. You got to buy these tickets ahead of time. Yeah. Which people in Wichita Falls and Texoma are so bad about waiting to the last minute to get tickets. And
sometimes we've lost gigs.
We've lost a lot. Yeah,
because of that.
Because what happens is they look at it and their manager goes, well, hell, we can
everywhere else
go pick up a show somewhere else. You know, we can go to Trees and Deep Ellum or someplace like that and make as much money. And it's a lot smaller gig.
Right.
And it's not as big a pain in the ass and all that.
Because at this point, of course, they've committed. They're going, but they don't. A lot of them don't wait until the last month or few weeks.
No, they'll if they don't start seeing ticket sales after like 30 to 60 days, they'll pull out, and it has happened.
Yep.
By the way, speaking of ticket sales, the fish fry, the Texas fish and chips that we talked about, man, that was gangbusters.
What?
It was awesome. The band we served 652 plates of fish.
Wow.
In about 2 hours and 15 minutes. We were humping it, and the kids were working their butts off, and the band parents and the redneck culinary, we were all working our hind ends off. And so the first 500 plates, redneck culinary donated. So the band got to keep every nickel there.
Okay.
Then a friend of mine, made an anonymous donation to buy plate number 501 to plate 600.
I got that.
And then we had 52 plates, so Redneck Culinary, we decided right on the spot, we're just going to sponsor that last 52 plates. So every nickel that the band took in, they kept 100% of it.
All right.
Almost $10,000.
Wow. And how much
towards the trip?
But they still got a lot more to do.
Oh, they got a lot to go, yeah.
But still, this made a huge dent in it.
That makes a huge dent. But let me tell you, that line was crazy. And we were at the old stadium, the Garnett Field Stadium, or McNeil Stadium. It's Garnett Field, in my opinion, because Mr. Garnett was such a great man. And that's what was named after him. But I was in the concession stand, and so there's a brick wall I could not see out. And I kept asking people, and I was serving the fish. And I kept asking people, how long's the line to go out to the street? And then 30 minutes later, how long's the line out to the street? And it was that way till 6 o'clock. And then finally somebody said, there's only about 20 people left. Okay. So it was nuts. Wow. So anyhow, if you participated in that, thank you very much on behalf of the band, the combined bands, to get to go to England. It's going to be a great trip for those kids and life-changing for some.
All right. What else we got going? We got the gun show.
The original Wichita Falls gun show.
Right. The one that Joe Tom started. Mike and Mike Rucker took over, and Rucker worked for it for years, and now owns it. Yep.
It's in Burke now.
It's in Burke.
It's the original Wichita Falls gun show, and they had a little bit of a falling out or something with the people over here in town at the MPEC.
Yeah. Oh.
And so now it's been in Burke, and I think it was in Burke last calendar year, and it was very successful. Okay. Burke Community Center, which is a lot tighter than the MPEC, but Mike said that they sold out of everything. Last time I talked to him, said their vendors were for signing up. Before they left, they were signing up for the next gun show.
Okay.
They were so happy about it. So it's going to be December 6th and the 7th. So be sure to go check them out. That's in Burke Minette, and it's the original Wichita Falls gun show. Now in Burke.
All right. Well, the next Yep. Let's see.
Big news.
Finally got 8 Democrats to come on over and vote for the continuing resolution that had basically everything else. Now, something was mentioned. I didn't dig into it, but I saw a video. Mike Johnson was saying that there was something slipped in at the last second.
I don't know. I didn't see that. I do know that what they did was they agreed to have a conversation about the Obamacare subsidies and have a conversation and a vote sometime in December.
Okay.
But so basically, this was the longest shutdown in our government's history, and this was squarely on the Democrats. And once again, I call balls and strikes. The last time that there was a shutdown, and I felt like the Republicans were the ones that were holding the hostage, the public hostage. I said it. I said it on the air. I think it was when we were on the radio. I said it over and over again, and I was very critical of them. This was squarely on the Democrats. But 8 Democrat senators, Catherine Masto, Dick Durbin, John Fetterman, not a surprise. John Fetterman had voted, I think, with the Republicans already.
Right.
Maggie Hassan, Tim Kaine, who actually was a vice president candidate. Wasn't he Hillary Clinton's vice president candidate when she ran against Trump? I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Jackie Rosen, Gene Shaheen, and Angus King, who's actually an independent. He's from Maine, but he caucuses with the Democrats. He's kind of like Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat, doesn't have a D next to his name, but he's a Democrat.
Right.
But they finally broke and passed a continuing resolution. The government was reopened. But what I feel bad for is all the people who had to go without paychecks.
Yeah, I know. How many days did it end up being?
46, 47. It's the longest in history. And in the end, nothing changed. No. They passed a continuing unless something got slipped in at the last minute, which I didn't hear that. But nothing changed. They end up passing the continuing resolution. And Trump has called for the end of the filibuster. Right. Now, I don't agree with the end of the filibuster at all, but like we talked about in the last show, I do think that they ought to end the filibuster for government shutdowns, and to where you can only pass a continuing resolution, put it in law. Yeah. You can only vote for a clean CR, which means that nothing is added. Right. And in fact, I would say a clean CR minus 1%.
Yeah. So I like that too. But now there, as far as through what did change is, I guess, that Trump was able to still go through and eliminate some of the some jobs that they kind of reevaluated.
There might have been, yeah.
So it was a little bit of an opportunity to see what is necessary and what's not. So
here's what you need to understand: if you're an employee somewhere, okay, you need to make sure that when you're not there, the boss knows it. In other words, the boss feels it, or other employees they're going, dang, I sure wish Terry was in today. Yeah. It's hard to do things without Terry. When you take 2 or 3 days off, or you take a week off and nobody really notices, that means that you're not really that valuable to that organization.
Well,
nobody notices.
Well, yeah, that to an extent, I guess that's true.
That's not going to happen in your business and mine because it's too small.
Well, yeah.
But in a large business, if you take off for an extended period of time and nobody even kind of realizes it because you don't do a lot.
Yeah. You got to be careful. Yeah. And you want to, but also, well, you want, I guess there's establishing your value to your employer. Prove to them that you bring value and show that to them in a very respectful way, of course, but you have a responsibility to show that and justify your own job.
Right.
And I'll tell you right now, well, let me give you a tip. Learn AI. It's not going away. Jump in with both feet and learn it, because it can and will help you in your job in some fashion. So please, because otherwise they're going to find somebody who can. Some young person's going to come in and they're going to know something, and they're going to show up. Now, use it with your experience. Play with it. Learn it. I promise you, if you don't, then it's not necessarily going to replace your job, but those people who use it, if you're a construction worker, we're going to figure out ways to use technology and AI. I promise you,
Well,
it's
the
going to
good
be
news
there.
is the hands-on stuff, the people that
Yes,
fix your
but
car, fix your plumbing,
right, but
that sort of thing, the AI is going to affect them last.
no, but we're right. But my point is, and we got to have a whole show on this at some point. But my point is not that
Terry, I think, owns stock in Chat GPT. He's been on the Chat GPT tip for years.
yeah. So, but basically, if you are you've got a skill like that. You're a construction worker. You're a carpenter. You're a plumber. You're whatever. By embracing the technology, and right now AI is the technology to learn, you will make that job make your job even more effective.
Dude, that's
my point. But what I'm saying is that if it ever come to shove with two people who otherwise have the same skills, I think AI experience is going to be a differentiator.
Yeah.
I promise you.
But AI cannot show its butt crack, plumber butt crack.
Yeah, that's right. So, well, I bet I can generate a video showing it.
So anyhow, moving on. 2 requests were approved by the Wichita Falls Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay.
One proposal was for the conditional use of the development of green energy ammonia production facility on a plot of land on the corner of 287 and 369. And the intent is to sell ammonia to local farmers, fertilizer. Ammonia is fertilizer.
Okay.
And then on the other topic, rezoning around 15 acres at Rathkeebler and Old Jacksboro Highway.
Okay.
Is set to develop a new high-end RV park. So there's already a high-end RV park that's right there where I-44, 287, and 281 converge.
I have a dumb question.
What's that?
What does that mean? High end versus a.
Well, because
They got a pool?
they're probably going to have a pool.
Okay.
They're going to have amenities, but also because I have an RV,
Right.
and we travel. There are places that they ask you what year is your RV.
Oh, they won't even let you in.
No,
If it's one from I Love Lucy that they were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if that thing's a hoopty. No, but the reason is because they don't want people coming there squatting. They don't want people showing up with crap.
Okay.
You know, I'm telling you, when we've traveled, my wife and I, I'm like, we're going somewhere. It's like, man, we're not going to make it to where we're going to go. We're going to stop somewhere. Yeah. And you start looking online to try to find an RV spot, and you show up. I've two times I've shown up there, and I was like, ain't no way I'm staying here. It was,
it's a ghetto.
When the RVs are there and they've got all kinds of crap out there. Yeah. And it's not good. So RV parks can be pretty dicey at times. Okay. Well, a lot of RV people are good folks. I mean, sure. But there are some people who do live in travel trailers, and they find a place and they make it home. Yeah. And let me tell you, it looks like Sanford and Son around some of these RVs out there.
Well, my sister, I called her motorhome an RV one time. Oh. And that was, Does
she have a motorhome or a motor coach?
She has a motor. Well, they have a coach, but they were okay with the motor home.
Yeah, I'm a redneck. I've got a fifth wheel.
Yeah, well,
it's a nice one, but it's a fifth wheel. I have a tow vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got these different, not classes, but different categories.
Oh, you do?
Well, okay, there might be different classes too.
Oh, there are. I mean,
within the different categories.
Yeah, there's different levels. But not only that, you see, you have your coaches like your Prevost and stuff. Some of those you can get into the millions of dollars, but there's a whole lot of those that are $750,000. Yeah. I mean, you can get to some super high end, but even just like a really nice motor coach is going to run you $500,000.
Okay. Well, let me say this. This was right as eBay was coming on board. My sister calls me one day. She didn't have internet access in Missouri. It was in the middle of Mexico, Missouri, by the way. But anyway, she's calling me and saying, Terry, could you log into my eBay account? I was like, sure. Well, we want to bid on not an RV, but a motorhome. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting here. I'm all nervous. I'm bidding like $250,000 for this thing. It's not even my money. Yeah. I'm all nervous, and everything. So just anyway.
They do get expensive.
A lot higher now. So that was probably in 2002. Something like that. So,
our guest has showed up. Let's do one more topic and one quick topic, and then we'll go to our guest.
Cool.
Governor Greg Abbott announced his reelection campaign for his fourth term. So, if he does win reelection, he could, if he finishes the term out, he could be the longest running governor.
Oh wow! Because
in the history of Texas.
Wow, how long was Bush?
I don't remember.
Well, Abbott, and then before that was Rick Perry.
Rick Perry. Perry was in. I think Perry's the longest serving so far, and then I think Abbott can break his record. By the way, Abbott's from Wichita Falls.
Yes, and well, some of that, and also, oh gosh, my customers out there, but Haskell. I thought he had some connection to Haskell as well.
He might, but he's from Wichita Falls originally.
All right.
But anyhow, he kicked it off. I was actually on a call yesterday and was talking about his some of the framework of what his legislative agendas are if he does get reelected. And he actually is talking about trying to figure out a way to eliminate property taxes for schools. Okay. Which that's a big uphill battle because the fact is the state's going to need money to run.
Sure.
And so where's that money going to come from? Yeah. The one thing we do not want them to do is to do a state raise a state sales tax, raise the price of the state sales tax. Because if you do that, you will absolutely kill businesses that are anywhere close to a neighboring
especially
state.
The borders, yeah.
I mean, you'll be okay in Austin because people aren't going to drive, they're not going to drive 5 or 6 hours to save a few bucks. But if you're computers, side-by-sides, motorcycles, not motorcycles so much, but side-by-sides and ATVs, furniture, metal buildings, buildings and that sort of thing, if you're anywhere close to Oklahoma, Louisiana, or New Mexico, you're going to just go across the border and buy it if it's going to save you thousands of dollars in taxes. Yeah. So we do not want to raise our tax state sales tax up too high.
Isn't that in the Constitution?
What's that?
The 8 1/4 is the maximum.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's constitutional or if it's just I don't know if it's in the Constitution law because it's actually 6 1/4.
Right.
State. Because all the state is, and the municipalities can go to 2%, up to 2%.
So
because you do have some municipalities that are like 1.25. Yeah. I forgot where I was, and it was 7 1/4%.
Right. Well, we were
7 1/4
until and then when I got here in '95, we were. So all right. Well, cool. Well,
we'll do the rest of this next week because we've got a guest here.
That's it. Let's get
Cory Edmonds with United Regional Healthcare.
Yeah,
come on in. We do a live transition here.
Yep, we do it.
So,
and
thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here.
All right.
So Cory, like I mentioned before, took over as CEO from Phyllis Cowling, and Phyllis was 25 years.
20
years.
20 years.
I know it was a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time.
So tell us a little bit about your background before we get started on.
Yeah,
stuff here.
I don't know how deep of a background you want me to share, but I mean, I'm a Texas born and raised individual, and Amarillo is my stomping grounds. Born and raised there, and went to school at Texas Tech.
Wow, ranked number 6. Well, depends on the poll.
I know 5, 6.
Yeah, I know. All my Texas Tech friends are going like, "We screw the AP poll." Yeah, we're going by coaches poll.
It's what. As long as we
6 or 8. It's 6.
As long as we get into college football playoffs, I'm fine. Wherever the ranking is, I don't care.
I'm the same way. And my kids are all Aggies. I'm an Aggie fan.
Oh, man.
So I love the fact that A&M and Tech
could play if they stay in their current rankings.
Yeah.
If Tech wins the first round and they go.
So it'll. But I'm glad that they're both got a college. They're CFP eligible right now.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And Texas is too.
I'm hoping. I know.
That would be fantastic to have 3 schools.
3 Texas schools in there.
But anyway, we lived in Midland for about 25 years.
Okay.
Raised our kids there, and then we moved to Kerrville, and
in the Hill Country. You talk about a change of scenery from Midland to Kerrville. Holy crap!
Living in West Texas in the Panhandle all my life, and then moving to Kerrville is like, wow.
Hey, there's hills and windy roads.
Quite a different terrain, topography. And we lived there for about 6 years, and I was a CEO there in that hospital, and then got the opportunity to come here to Wichita Falls. So been here about 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in the hospital? Have you right out of college? Have you been in the hospital business?
No. I was in electrical supply sales when I graduated from Tech. Moved to Austin. I didn't include Austin in my conversation, by the way. It's about 3 years, and I try to not remember.
Yeah.
Any case, lived there for about 3 years, and then electrical supply sales, and then moved to Midland, Odessa back in about 93, 94. and started up a durable medical equipment business with a college roommate.
DME.
Yeah, and DME. And we did that for a few years, sold that, and then went on to other healthcare professions, not in hospital-based work, in the ambulatory outpatient works. So from running a chronic non-healing wound center and opening that up with hyperbaric oxygen, and then went to running physician practices, and then I got into hospital administration. Went at Midland Memorial for my first endeavor, and I've been in hospital administration now for over 20 years.
DME, durable medical equipment, for people who don't know, that's CPAPs and prosthetics. And,
oxygen, wheelchairs at home, beds at home, IV therapy at home.
Things you're going to use somewhere outside of a
hospital
or a medical facility.
Yeah. So.
All right. So big things that I've seen that's affected me a little bit is that I've had two of my docs. Well, Dr. Obiagwu joined the team. He switched for me in private practice, and so y'all, that seems to be a trend, or I don't know if that's a trend or is that's a goal that y'all have of trying to get some of the physicians on board. Can you tell us a little bit about that thing going on?
Globally speaking, that's the trend. I'll dive into cardiology in just a minute. Specifically, but throughout the nation, it has continued to progress where doctors are moving from being independent practitioners to being employed. The reason is insurance payers are continuing to put pressure on doctors and providers, reducing their reimbursement. They just can't afford to stay in practice. In fact, I often ask doctors, okay, what did you make 10 years ago? And they tell me, I say, well, what do you make today? It's about the same, but the cost of living has dramatically increased in the last 10 years. And I'm like, so you make less today than you did 10 years ago? He says, absolutely. So that's a trend. Probably in the last 6 years, don't quote me on that, but it has dramatically moved from independent to employed. You now have more physicians employed than you do independent. Cardiology, Dr. Obiagwu, for example, roughly 80% of cardiologists, 75 to 80% of cardiologists are employed. The guys locally were independent, and that was great. Loved it. I told them, man, you guys are the last of the breed to stay independent. And then when Dr. Obiagwu actually was like, man, I can't afford to continue to do this. I'm moving. He got recruited. He got recruited out of our community. And we discovered that. And we're like, no, we've got to keep you here. What can we do? And the only way to do that was to employ him. So we employed Dr. Obiagwu to keep him here for our community. And then that kind of created more challenges around our other independent doctors. Like, oh, wow, the hospital now has employed Dr. Obiagwu. Well, we want to be employed. And so we're in the process of employing most, if not all, the cardiologists in town to put them on the same playing field and all to be fair and equitable to them, but also to keep them cardiology in our community.
Because they're busy. When I go, so I've worked with nearly all of them. I've worked with, Dr. O. It's easier to say Dr. O.
Yeah.
Dr. Palmer, of course, now he's changed a little bit in what he's doing. You've got Dr. G, Dr. Ganeshram, Dr. Desiree, and Jafari, and Kumar, and all of these guys. I've worked with most and all of them, and it's just so again, and I'm very respectful of those decisions and everything, and I have to support them. So I've lost a customer because you guys have your own IT, and so, but I'm busy, and that's okay.
Yeah, by the way, when Terry said he's worked with him, he hasn't had all these cardiologists working on him.
No.
He's worked with them
Terry's in really bad health.
Yeah, I was gonna say, on a professional sense. Yeah, we've got a pace. I mean, we've got a little defibrillators back here.
There you go.
We'll throw them up on the table and tell them clear.
No, but I've gotten a lot of an education in kind of the operation of a practice, and especially cardiology. I've learned all about EKGs and the videos that they're viewing all the time, and making sure they have internet that's good and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting. But I think it's the technology is you guys basically are consolidating a lot of things into one. And there's a lot of consolidation going on, not only in your industry, in the medical, it's also even in IT.
In my industry, it is
right.
as well.
They're trying.
The thing is, you share costs. You have administrative costs. No matter what business you have people. You have people that have to look at HR. You have HR people. You have people that have to look at any sort of they do payroll and yada,
billing.
yada.
Just
billing and collecting and all that. And yes, if you can share those costs, it dramatically increases your bottom line.
Correct. And to thrive and stay alive for that's where that consolidation, because all those practices that you just mentioned, they all have their own practice manager. They all have their own nurses. Everybody has all of these things. And so now you consolidate all that, and you've got one practice manager now and one computer system, and you lower your cost there. But I think and that's great, but I think what's more important to us is, since we're a nonprofit community independent hospital, our job and goal and mission is to keep healthcare local. And to do that, if that requires us to employ doctors to keep them local, to take care of our community, that's what we're going to do.
Right. So, well, and that, I think, is the big key is that you still have, to the best of y'all's ability, you're keeping the same doc. In the same. In fact, with Dr. Obiagu, he's in the same building he was. Now, he was with Dr. Palmer and them, but then he moved out, bought that building, and moved in, and then. But still, he's running into all the challenges that you're running into. But you get to see the same doc in the same place and everything. So that's I think that's cool, and I commend you guys for working that from an outsider kind of point of view. And I think y'all have done a great job with UPRG down on Barnett and all of that. And I'm military, so I'm glad that you take TRICARE, because that's been a challenge over the years, is making sure there's providers here locally that do that. And so anyway, but yeah.
I mean, recruiting physicians is a top priority of ours, strategically speaking anyway, especially right now, primary care. It takes a while to get into a primary care doctor right now, but we recognize that. I recognize that coming in, and the board did too. And so we're on a really targeted interest in capturing more primary care doctors locally, not just doctors, but advanced practice providers. And we've actually decreased the wait time for a new patient to get in from roughly 9 to 12 months down to 6 months in the last few months, and it's been great.
So when you're talking about you share costs and that sort of thing, because like people don't realize how much just the hospital operating computer program that you have to pay for, how much that costs per month. It's insane.
Which one? There's like how many?
Well, yeah, but
the main one,
right, Epic.
Yeah, Epic. Yeah, is I mean the prices are crazy.
It's over $1 million a month.
Exactly.
Wow.
Just for the rights to have
just for Epic. Now, but what about
and that doesn't include
my chart
the purchase of it,
right?
Which was
millions,
$100
up front, and then you got all the support and all the computers and the hardware and the servers and all that stuff.
It's a major investment.
But then there's also other costs that keep rising and rising. What can you do as a hospital to try to combat some of that sort of thing? To try to keep those costs, or can you lobby Congress? Can we do something to try to get some of those costs down?
Yeah,
for everybody.
Sure. Talk about consolidation. Yeah. There's probably 3 main EMRs out there. Cerner, which is now they've been acquired. Then you've got Epic, and you got Meditech in the inpatient world. In the outpatient world, ambulatory space, you got a little bit more there. It's in order for even those entities to reduce their costs, there's consolidation going on there too. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have much control of that. I know that ultimately it wouldn't surprise me if the federal government says, we're going to one EMR system in the future, and it's going to be whatever, and everybody's going to be connected to one electronic medical record. I think, the federal government's probably moving towards a one-payer system, a Medicare type system, which is, I'll get in. It's a little scary for me.
We can talk about that in a minute here.
For us to reduce, we're always looking for opportunities to reduce cost. But supplies keep going up, pharmaceuticals keep going up.
Right.
Doctors, we got to pay them more. We got to pay our staff
The
more.
insurance.
Insurance.
Oh,
keeps going
insurance
up.
has gone insane all over.
So we're self-insured too, and our insurance is going up. I mean, our people use our own system, and our premiums are going up.
Well, not just health, but your liability insurance. I know that in the motorcycle business, our conference every year at the Texas Motorcycle Dealer Association, we have an insurance specialist come in and talk about the state of the industry, not necessarily power sports, just the insurance industry. And what they're talking about is the amount of dollars that are awarded. Because this new generation here, back the kind of, I guess, more of our generation. I'm assuming you're going to be kind of in our age group here. So our generation, you kind of, when you were on a jury and somebody said, okay, something happened here and this person's at fault and somebody's going to have to pay something. Our jury was like, okay, but yeah, let's kind of keep it reasonable and stuff. And it seems like this new generation, money doesn't mean anything to them. And I think going to cards and direct deposits and nobody carrying cash anymore, money's invisible now.
Right.
And so to them, whereas we might have said, okay, we're going to award you $1 million, they'll go $5 million. Screw those insurance companies, make them pay. It's like, no, you're paying in the end because those insurance companies either go out of business or they raise their rates, and it does, and on everything. So people don't realize that all of that has an effect.
It does. It's a domino effect with all of that. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are going to get into cashless systems and things of that nature, where society wise, and I have some thoughts on AI. You guys were talking about that a while ago, but that's where we are. So I won't steal thunder.
No, you go right ahead. Wait, this is open.
No.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about.
When you guys were talking about AI back there, I'm like, oh man, we're right in the throes of it. Healthcare is trying to figure out, how do we do this responsibly, right? And so we've at United Regional, I'm pushing my CIO we have a governance structure. I said, if we implement AI, I want to make sure it's unbiased. I want to know who the vendor is, what they've done with their AI, and where they're getting their information and data, so that it's not biased, that it comes in. It could be generative and it learns on its own, but through all that. But Epic particularly is they've got AI going on. So today we've got AI implemented in our finance area, where insurance companies will have AI declining our
AI to help you.
Right? So it's just automatic. It just scans it and looks for things that may be off a little bit, and they just look for an opportunity to deny that. They'll deny that. And it used to be like, okay, well, we got to figure out where that is, and so we would be manually doing it. Now we've got AI that's like, no, it's not, and this is a need, and it's justified, and here's the data.
It's gonna be like battle bots. My AI is going to fight your AI,
and that's what's happening
in the octagon.
That's
what's happening right now. And so that's through revenue cycle, and we'll look for other things. In imaging, for example, it's now able to detect things that maybe a doctor's naked eye might not catch.
Which actually makes sense. I know that some people don't feel comfortable about that, but in a way that makes sense to me, because that thing's scanning, it's a broken fibula. And this thing could go out there and scan 30 million broken fibulas and do a comparison like that.
Just like that.
And a doctor might have over the course of their career might have scanned 300 or 400 or 3,000. They hadn't done 30 million.
Right. Well, but on that though, I tell me if I'm wrong on this, is that it may be looking and you say, oh, I have a broken bone, let me make sure of all of that. But it may also pick up, oh, wait a minute, this over here, that could be a cancer, or that could be some other issue
or something.
Yeah. And then that brings,
now.
Right. So that's
absolutely,
and that maybe the doc missed it, but it's no different to me in a way. It gives, the AI is providing in a different dimension, if you might call it that. It's identifying things, a different dimension of resolution or another view of it. Look at X-rays. You and I look at an X-ray and we're like, That's still fuzzy, but a trained eye can
yeah,
look
I
at
was
it.
gonna say, I mean,
But
if you
those,
see a bone like this, you're going, okay, that's a
well,
broken
that's
bone.
true. But
Doctors, it takes
but
a trained eye to know, see
the
the
slight
nuances.
crack you may not even see. But what my point is that technology over time, X-rays back 50 years ago they're not the same thing as they are now, and at much higher resolution, but still fuzzy. But AI then can look at that fuzziness and see the difference. And that's where, because some of that is physics. We can only go so deep. And so it's just given better eyes over time. And that's what AI is right now, is a better set of eyes than we had, better viewing and everything. So,
So I give you, and go take you through a scenario. Let's use Terry again. He's not very healthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's healthy, but
Yeah.
right. So Terry comes into the ER, and his stomach's hurting or whatever. We look at him and we determine that you got some problems with your heart too. Oh, and by the way, Terry, predictive analytics is going to tell us, based on your history, your comorbidities, and all the other problems you have, high blood pressure and diabetes, that you're probably going to be in the ER 5 times this year based on your history. And if you don't change your habits, then in about 3 years, we're going to do open heart surgery. It does that predictive analytics, and we can now have these conversations with you and say, here's what's going on with you. If you don't change your habits, and here's how you can do that. Go see your primary care doctor or cardiologist, and they'll help you. But you're going to be here multiple times in a year, and spend a lot of money, and then we're going to open you up and have open heart surgery. And anyway, it's doing that. It's technologically, it's doing that because it's finding people like Terry that have come in with the same comorbidities. This is epic, and scanning all those are like, okay, this is typically what happens to somebody like Terry and what he has, age and all that. It's doing that. We're near the implementation of something like that, where we can start having those conversations with patients.
Wow.
well, then on this though, just let's get back down to the basics though. What about? I guess there's a lot of alternative healthcare that used to be poo-pooed. Some of that is brought back to the basics, where we've gotten so technologically advanced, and we've got all these drugs, and we want to throw drugs. Seems like that docs may have been trained over enough time that seems to be the first thing. But then there's a trend to go back. Wait a minute, do we really need to? And that's where AI can also come into play. So why are you on all of these medicines? And it's because you took the first one and it had side effects, and you got another one to counteract that side effect, and it had a side effect, and then you happen to have another issue come around, and it builds on it. And then sometimes that's just so, it takes somebody to go, wait a minute, and we're so busy, sometimes that doesn't happen maybe as often as it used to. You might see so many different docs and all of that. So what does that make sense what I'm asking?
Oh, 100%. And
No, but
I'm
but go ahead.
proponents of, when you're sick or something's wrong, let's get to the root of it. Medication would be, I'm not a big taking medicine kind of a guy. I'd rather change my habits and what I'm eating and what I'm doing, and to keep from that. So we as an organization are moving towards that environment. It's like we don't want to, healthcare, hospitals, doctors, they're not in the healthcare business. They're in the sick care business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We need to get into the healthcare wellness business. And I'm all about preventative and wanting that to happen. And I think as an organization locally, you'll probably start seeing some of those things kind of come out publicly about where we're headed on preventative and what we're doing in regards to who you are, what you're doing, activities, eating right, healthiness. You'll start seeing more of that coming. But yeah, I mean, food is medicine. And if you don't eat right, it may not happen right now, but it's like the cumulative effect. And I talked to my son about this, my youngest son. He's like, he's 27. He thinks he's invincible, and what he eats is terrible. I'm like, you're going to reap the unfortunate benefits of that unhealthy eating. And he's getting it now. Now he's married, and he's got a wife that's healthy, and it's changed his habits. So that's a good thing. But anyway, yes, drugs, it's the easy button for people. And they don't want to put in the effort to change or do things until there's something catastrophic that happens to them. And then they make the change, but that's almost too late.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I will say about, and correct me if I'm wrong, what level trauma center are you guys? Level 2 trauma center. And then you have all the different orthopedics and cardiologists and everything. So basically, if somebody is in Wichita Falls or this area and they have a medical issue, I know there's some specialty things, but most medical issues you guys can handle some here, or you have somebody can handle that here. Is that correct?
That's right. So level 1 is you can just take everything, right? And there's a few of those throughout the state, and so we're a level 2, and we're one of 2 west of 35. So we get a lot of air ambulances coming in to United Regional to take care of trauma. There are some things we can't do it all, and we'll in fact transfer and transport some to the Dallas-Fort Worth market, and all. But we can take care of a lot. We have trauma surgeons on call, all kinds of doctors on call, 24/7 that are ready and available to do whatever's needed. And so we take care of a large geographical area.
So you talk about emergency, that unfortunately there are some of our population ends up in the emergency room when in reality that didn't need to be the emergency room. So what does United Regional have going on that 24/7 wise? What are the options at 3:00 in the morning?
Locally, there's not a lot.
Probably it's not financially viable to staff a clinic.
Correct.
Yeah, we've
tried that. Now we got Care Plus. It'll stay open till 8:00 right now, 7:00, 8:00, and we're looking at extending those hours. But our ER is obviously 24/7, so that's where people end up. But people also use the ER for primary care that shouldn't.
Right.
They get mad when they're in the waiting room for 6 hours or 5 hours, 4 hours, whatever, and they've got an earache.
It's like, you're clogging it up.
And so they get mad at us. Like, I've been here for 6 hours, and we're like, yes, but we've got the trauma. We just had the motor vehicle accident. We just had the person come with a heart attack. We just had a multi-vehicle accident. And so they don't know what's going on behind the walls, but they've got an earache.
Right.
But oftentimes people will use the ER because we have a law in the United States and the country that's called EMTALA. And we have to see everybody, no matter what, regardless of their payer source.
Yeah, let me add this, because I've said this 8 million times. I've said it on the radio. I've said it here. When you hear Congress say X amount of people don't have health care, that is complete bullshit. Everybody that is in the United States, if you step foot on this soil, whether you're here legally, illegally, whatever, you have health care. You don't have health insurance, and you're not going to get a boob job or something like that. But if you are in trauma, a medical provider will treat you. Once again, I don't care if you literally got here. I knew a fireman that worked in El Paso for years, south of I-10, and he said he didn't know how many babies he delivered on the banks of the Rio Grande, because somebody would walk across and then have a baby right there. He said they didn't just go, oh, you're here illegally, you're not. So I just want to dispel that. It's if you are on our soil, legally, illegally, just got here or been here for 100 years,
I'm going to bleed out.
Something's going to happen. Something happens to you. Somebody will stabilize you.
Right. And that's kind of what that's the piece. They will. We'll stabilize them. We treat them. We'll do surgery if they need it, regardless. And so at United Regional, because we are a nonprofit independent hospital, I mean, right now, those kind of folks and others who can't afford care, even that are here legally, right now we're budgeting about $40 million in charity care for next year, especially the one big, beautiful bill and all is going to impact us greatly. But right now we spend about $30 million, but we're budgeting for $40 million next year. And that's taking care of people who can't afford health care. We want to take care of our community. That's what we do. But
imagine y'all work hand in hand with some of the other organizations in town. We got the Community Health Care Center. I mean, what's your connection with them and other providers in town so that you can help people who may not have retired from the military or have insurance on their own?
Sure. So, if somebody comes into the ER and they don't have a primary care doctor, we send them one of two places. You can do the community health care clinic. They're about to open up their ability to see patients who are 19 to 64. Right now, they were just taking everybody that was 18 and under or 65 and over. But that's they're changing. They got a new CEO, and that's changing. They're a federally qualified healthcare center. The other option that we were when they decided to do that, we opened up a transition clinic, and and that
Yeah,
transition.
please
clinic,
explain that, because transition clinic right now
Might have a
means
different
a
term.
whole lot than it
I'm
did
sorry.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but
Okay.
yeah,
Let's
you
just
say a
clarify.
I
transition
haven't thought
clinic.
about that honestly when I say
the
that.
first
So
time I heard that.
Thank you for saying that. That's hilarious. So it's moving from an ER setting and taking care of you in a primary care setting, and we call it the transition clinic because you're moving from ER to more primary care.
Right.
We're going to take care of you, your diabetes, and put you on a regimen to try to help you. And so that clinic does see uninsured, underfunded patients. We do it for free. Homeless, we do that in that clinic. And we will help them coordinate with medications. We'll also help them with other local nonprofits if they need food, if they need a refrigerator. We'll go buy the refrigerator and we'll put it in their house so they can put their diabetes medication in there. That clinic does that. We fund that stuff through United Regional.
Okay. Well,
Right.
well, I was gonna, on that note, what about the 6-year-old girl that's in a family who doesn't have any health care and insurance? I'm sorry, health insurance. Yeah, and whether they need chemo of some sort or they need some major thing. I mean, I don't know the business end of it, but I always hear about, well, in order to get treatment, we've got to put down a down payment of whatever. Well, if it's an aggressive thing, we waiting a month while you're trying to get money for this, doing a fundraiser. What's the reality there with, I mean, do y'all do chemo and all that on, okay. So, answer that for, I don't understand that process. I don't understand how a child could be put, is a child really going to wait?
Yeah. So a pediatric patient like that would probably go to, we have resources where we send like a pediatric patient probably out of the community to go get that kind of treatment because that's very specialized. But if it's an adult, we can take care of that stuff locally, and we have been taking care of chemotherapy free of charge at the hospital for quite some time. But for a child, we will coordinate down probably in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or even at MD Anderson. We've got relationships to help coordinate that kind of care. But it won't go without.
But there's no, right. But we're not going to have to wait and come up with a $75,000 down payment and all this other stuff. Or I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I hear that, but I don't really know what's the reality.
You hear a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking, because I don't know the real answer.
It does get complicated, and you've got to work with these institutions to accept that patient, and then they've got to figure out where that funding's coming from.
Right. So there's a challenge to get it paid for.
And there's a lot of social workers that get involved in that, trying to come up with these fundings and
yeah.
stuff. Speaking of fundings, Medicare reimbursement.
Okay.
That's a big topic. And of course, Jim Koulivatos was on with us about a month ago and was talking about the difference between Medicare and Medicare Advantage. And just because Jimmy J. Walker says Medicare Advantage is dynamite, it might not be. So from your perspective, tell us a little bit about Medicare and Medicare Advantage.
Yeah. So Medicare, I mean, you join traditional Medicare, you can go wherever you want. You can choose whatever doctor you want. And those things get paid for. Now you can get supplemental pharmaceutical and other things, Part B for ambulatory space. There's Part A, B, and there's pharmaceuticals. And so traditional Medicare is just like having regular insurance.
Basically, I have an insurance. It's just the government funds it.
Exactly. Medicare Advantage, I kind of call personally disadvantage because people don't really know what they're buying, but it looks good because they promote it as really like, and it is. Your premiums are like sometimes zero, and so now you've got more money to put on the table over shelter, and so it looks really good until you need it. When you need it, you're like, oh gosh, now I got to go to the ER, I got to get admitted, I need surgery. Okay, well, surgery's gonna be this much. Can you pay that? Your copay's this. Oh, it's not paid for? No, it's not paid for. Oh, I need a cardiologist now. Oh, well, your local cardiologists aren't in your particular network. You're gonna have to go to Dallas for your cardiologist. I can't choose my doctor locally. No, you can't choose your doctor locally. They're not in your network.
And by the way, we got to get everything pre-approved, right?
Pre-approved.
Whereas Medicare, there's a lot of, I mean, I know there's probably some things, but there's a lot of leeway that they give the healthcare facility,
Correct.
Without having a bunch of pre-approvals.
So like Medicare Advantage. So, all right, you're the unhealthy one now, Trey. You're admitted in the hospital, and you're there, and we need to discharge you, and we're going to discharge you to a rehab facility because you need some therapy and things of that nature. We're going to call your Medicare Advantage and say, hey, Trey needs to be admitted to Encompass for rehab, and they're going to say, okay, well, this requires pre-approval. We're going to take the next 72 hours to figure out whether Trey can go there or not. Well, that's 72. You can go there. You qualify. They just want to spend another 3 days in the hospital and cost on us giving you your therapy. And then they may or may not, or they're saying like, no, we're not going to approve that. It's not under Terry's plan. So now we got to figure out and put you in some other facility. But it's a challenge.
Yeah, we got a shed out back we can put your ass in until things come out. So
it's difficult. And when people finally figure that out and they want to switch back to Medicare, they can. But now they can't get the Medicare Part B traditional supplemental. They have to go and get a third party, which could be more expensive,
or at least until or ever.
They're done.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah.
Once you go to Medicare Advantage, and you go back to traditional Medicare, you
Permanently
lose
lose
a lot of your freedoms. Okay.
Let me ask you: do you guys have somebody on staff that if you had somebody who was qualified for Medicare or was on Medicare and they're curious about Medicare Advantage, that could maybe give them some unbiased information on that? So how would they go about getting some? Because that's the biggest thing, is just want to know what you're buying. Mm-hmm. Buyer beware. Yeah. And it's one of those things, if that's the best thing for you, but go find out from an unbiased source who knows the business and let them break down the nuts and bolts for you. How would somebody reach that?
Yeah. So our case management and social workers know a lot about that. And our revenue cycle folks know a lot about that. The people that deal with insurance a lot, and they can educate the individuals on that. But also the Area Agency on Aging, very well versed in Medicare versus Medicare Advantage. And if you don't want the hospital's perspective because you think it may be biased, go to somebody that's unbiased. Go to the Area Agency on Aging and talk to them. Mindy.
Well, I will say, though, that you really should ask people, even on regular insurance, ask the providers, because if they're having trouble getting paid, that's then huge. It doesn't matter anything else, because that right there, if they're easy to work, that's why I ask in body shops and stuff. Well, who's the insurance, or the construction, remodel, and those people who do repairs after some sort of house disaster. So who's easiest to work with, and that you should consider.
What insurance company? Yeah.
What insurance company is? Yep.
Well, I need to bring this up and just ask you kind of what your thoughts are, since you're fairly new here, and being my position, being on the board of managers of a regional or a rural hospital. Do you guys have any plans of? So, say somebody comes to your facility and they get treatment because they really need your type of treatment rather than what Clay County or Electra or somebody else can give. But then say they need to go spend a little bit of time in a hospital under respite, more of, they're stabilized, they're no longer in trauma and stuff like that. Do you guys have a plan or a source to work with some of these local rural hospitals to maybe use their swing beds and things like that, so these people could be closer to, if they live, like for instance, in Clay County, if they live in Newport, which nobody knows where that is, but it's Newport in Clay County, you're a pretty good ways away from Wichita Falls. Yeah. And so if your family's down there, but you're going to spend 3 or 4 or 5 days in the hospital, do y'all have any kind of plans or thoughts about being able to getting people closer to their families for just a few days?
Yes, we do. So our case managers and care coordinators work within that framework where they need a little extra care. Then we'll figure out where they live, where they're closest to, and we'll look at sending them to swing beds to our rural hospitals. In fact, we just had a meeting with Graham Just this week, we were in Graham talking about all those opportunities and how we can support our rural hospital partners. We meet with them quarterly, and we strategize. What do you guys need? What can we do to help you? And so there's a lot of coordination goes on there. United Regional, we've got to sustain our rural hospital partners. They need to stay a thriving entity, because if they don't, those communities will slowly die. And we don't want our rural communities to die. A hospital in a community of Henrietta or wherever, those are kind of the lifeblood of those communities, and so it's really important.
Yeah. And by the way, swing bed is not a hammock. The bed does not actually swing. No, it just means you're going to be there for a period of time, coming from another hospital.
Swinging from the hospital to a temporary kind of bed, and you're only there for a little bit, and then you're swing right back out.
There you go. So one thing on the business side of it that people don't sometimes think about is United Regional, the economic impact that United Regional Healthcare does for Wichita Falls and the local area. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, you're the largest employer, are you now, aren't you?
So we are the largest private employer.
Yeah, right.
So Shepherd
is the number one. But but you're larger than the school district,
yes.
I believe. Yeah. So
yes.
Talk about a little bit about what the economic impact that United Regional brings to Wichita Falls and not only helps the people of the community and the surrounding communities with their health care, but also economically.
Yeah. When people think about the hospital, it's like, okay, they deliver healthcare, they do surgery, the CER, and things of that nature. But when you think about us as a business per se in the community,
but it is a business. Let's just be fair. It's a business, yeah.
And I often say, just because we're a nonprofit entity doesn't mean we don't make a profit. We got to make a profit to sustain the $30 million in charity care that we spend a year. But the economic impact, and I've started to share this with my own employees. I'm like, did you know? I mean, we're also an economic engine in this community to a tune of $900 million.
Okay, I knew I knew you'd know what the number was.
Because of us, there's $900 million being circulated through this community, and so it's a big impact.
It's huge.
And y'all do business with other local businesses.
We do,
and
as
so
much as we can. We try to buy local, and I completely and 100% support that. Yeah, we got to sustain our own community, right? I mean, we need to feed each other.
Right. Well, even the city, as much as the city and the county want to be able to do business locally, because they clearly are, in some sense, they're a little more deeper rooted even than you guys, but they still have to go out because there's some capabilities we just don't have here in a small community. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, great question.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's what I do. So, did you have anything else you want to cover as we wrap this up here? We've gone, which is awesome. We've gone like almost 45 minutes, which is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. It goes fast.
Yeah.
Goodness.
And that's one thing that we really do or pride ourselves on.
Yeah, we're trying to
is long form interviews. You can't do this. There's not another podcast, radio station, TV station that does this or TV show, because even the closest thing is the social space.
Right.
But have you been on the social space yet with Jackie Hager? Yeah. But still, it's about 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
And which I'm not knocking anybody. It just is what it is. And of course, you know how it is when the news reporter comes out and interviews you. They'll interview for 10 minutes and it's about a minute and 30 seconds of content. So is there anything else that you want people to know about United Regional or that we can?
I think as I've evolved into the organization in the last 9 months, I want the community to know we want to be and are an indispensable member of this community. We're a partner. We're a community hospital. We're here for the community, and we get to make decisions locally because we are an independent local hospital. Give you an example. We're in construction for an NICU level 3. And that's being able to take care of babies that are 26 weeks gestation, born on up. Today, it's only 30. And those patients that are infants that were 26 and younger like that, we had to ship to Cook Children's in Dallas. Mm-hmm. So dad had to go there, mom had to go there, grandparents had to come local, take care of the other kids. It's expensive. They had to be in hotels. But anyway, we as an organization, for example, decided, you know what, we want to keep this region's patients and families together locally. We're going to build this NICU level 3. Went to the board and said, we want to do this. It's not going to make money. but we think it's the best thing for the community.
Sure.
And they're like, okay, let's invest $5 million into this renovation. If we were a for-profit entity and we would have gone to them and said, hey, we want to build this, but it's not going to make money. They said, well, forget it. We're not doing that. And so we get to make decisions that are best for the community. And that's what we're about. We want to be fiercely independent for as long as we can survive as an entity, and reinvest in the community and outside of our four walls, to help sustain and make this a thriving community. We're all about a high quality and moving. And are we perfect? No, we're only humans. But just recently we got recognized as the 15th best hospital in the state of Texas out of 700 plus.
That's pretty impressive,
right? So that's in the top 2% of hospitals
right
in
here
the
in Wichita
state.
Falls.
Top 2% of patient hospitals in the state, and the only ones that are better or bigger than us, or got ranked higher than us, are in the Texas Triangle: Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And we rank right up there with them. And there's several of those in the Texas Triangle that are below us.
All right.
So this community ought to be proud that they have such an organization of this, because to have the level of specialty care that we have, to be able to be independent and sustain. If people have only lived in Wichita Falls, because I'm new, and I've said this to even my employees, if this is the only place you've worked, you don't know how good you have it.
That's right.
If this is the only place you've lived and this is the only place you got in healthcare, you don't know how good you have it. It's pretty incredible. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to leave you guys with that. But you don't know that until you've experienced something somewhere else.
Well, that's why I love traveling internationally, and I've traveled internationally to multiple countries and that sort of thing. And even England and Scotland and, not third world countries, we're talking about first tier countries. The difference between the quality of life in America and the quality of life there, and we don't even want to get started on the quality of healthcare over there. My wife's grew up English. Okay. She's an American citizen now, but she spent the first 30 years of her life in England, and she will scream at the top of her lungs about being against national health care. Yeah. So, and real quick before we go, the one last thing, to what degree you could tell us, I'm not trying to get inside information here, what are the plans, or have y'all made your plans public for what was Kel West Hospital now that you guys have purchased or taken over the facility, right?
Right. Great question. So glad you brought that up. So Kel West approached us in the summer, and they were struggling, just like rural hospitals are struggling. It's just hard to make it in healthcare. And so we said we weren't interested in buying the operations, but we'll buy the property and we'll buy the building, and you guys continue to do whatever you need to do. And they could not make that, and so they're winding things down. We have plans. So I gave you a little bit of a nugget saying about health and wellness, and things may be looking different in the future. We don't know exactly what we're going to do with Kel West at this point. It'll be a multiple purpose facility, healthcare facility. Just don't know exactly what it's going to be. We have probably 3 or 4 different ideas that we're floating around, but this happened so quick. We just hadn't had the time to really investigate and put any kind of action plan in place.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad you guys are taking over. The last thing you want is a big empty building.
Right.
Especially a big empty building that's already set up for healthcare.
Right.
Yeah. It makes sense to be able to purchase it and use it in some capacity.
Yes.
And I know y'all figure it out. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All righty.
Well, thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for the invitation. Anytime. Come anytime.
Up here, so I guess
next week Steve Garner will be.
Steve Garner, okay. We're gonna, he kind of hangs out, right?
Yeah, he comes in. He comes in occasionally with us. Yeah.
All right, so but be sure to join us every Friday morning, 7:30. Whether we're live or not, there's going to be something here, and of course you can watch the archives and all of that. But as he said, we're gonna have Steve Garner on the way.
That's right.
But we're gonna wrap it up, and so this has all been Get It Right Texoma, and as Mike. Gentleman up there has always said at the end of all of the podcasts is that we'll see you down the road.
You make this rather snappy,